Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly stay disciplined and achieve their goals, while others struggle to maintain even the simplest routines? The answer often lies in the power of habits. Habits shape nearly every aspect of our lives: our health, relationships, productivity, and even our happiness. This book, Mind Edge: Build a Life of Positive Habits, is your guide to unlocking that power. It's not just about adopting a few good habits. It's about transforming your mindset and daily actions to create lasting, meaningful change. Whether you've struggled with inconsistency or feel stuck in old patterns, this journey will equip you with practical tools and insights to take control of your life. As you progress through these chapters, you'll discover how small, intentional steps can lead to big results, building a life you're proud to live. Let's get started. Chapter 1: The Habit Blueprint: Laying the Foundation for Lasting Change. Imagine trying to build a house without a blueprint. The walls might not align, the roof could collapse, and what you're left with is a chaotic mess instead of a sturdy, dependable structure. Habits are the same way. Without a solid foundation and plan, we risk building a life of instability, where progress is inconsistent and our goals remain out of reach. This chapter introduces the idea of creating a habit blueprint, a thoughtful approach to designing habits that stick and serve as the bedrock of personal growth. At its core, a habit is simply a behavior repeated over time until it becomes automatic. Think about brushing your teeth every morning or locking the door when you leave home. These small actions don't require much thought because they've become ingrained in your daily routine. Yet, when it comes to cultivating habits that lead to significant life changes, like exercising regularly, eating healthier, or staying organized, we often overlook the intentionality required to make them permanent. One of the most important principles of habit formation is starting small. Many people make the mistake of aiming too high too fast. For instance, someone who hasn't exercised in years might decide they're going to work out for an hour every day starting tomorrow. While the intention is admirable, the approach often leads to burnout. Instead, a more effective strategy might be committing to just 5 minutes of movement daily. Over time, this small act builds momentum, making it easier to expand into a more robust routine. Success grows when the steps are manageable. Consider the example of Michael, a busy father of 2 who struggled to find time for his health. He decided to start his habit journey with a simple commitment: walking for 10 minutes during his lunch break. Initially, it felt insignificant, but Michael stayed consistent. As the weeks went by, those 10 minutes turned into 20, and soon he was jogging every morning before work. The key was starting small and allowing the habit to grow naturally. Michael's story illustrates that laying a foundation of achievable actions leads to sustainable change. Another cornerstone of building habits is understanding the cue routine reward cycle. This concept, popularized by Charles Duhigg in The Power of Habit, explains how habits are formed and maintained. A cue triggers the behavior, the routine is the action itself, and the reward reinforces it. For example, if you want to establish a habit of drinking more water, you could use mealtimes as a cue, the act of drinking as the routine, and the satisfaction of staying hydrated as the reward. By aligning your habits with this cycle, you create a system that feels natural and easy to maintain. Let's take the example of Sarah, who wanted to read more books but never seemed to find the time. She identified her cue as making her morning coffee. While her coffee brewed, she committed to reading just 1 page. Over time, her routine of reading grew from 1 page to entire chapters, and the reward of a quiet, productive start to her day kept her motivated. Sarah didn't need a dramatic overhaul of her schedule, just a small tweak to align her habit with her existing routine. A common obstacle many face is the belief that they must rely on motivation to build habits. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes, often leaving us stranded when we need it most. What truly matters is designing an environment that supports your habits. This might mean keeping your running shoes by the door if you want to exercise, or placing a water bottle on your desk to remind you to hydrate. When your surroundings make it easier to take action, you're far less likely to rely on willpower alone. The emotional component of habit building is also essential. Think of habits as investments in your future self. Each small action you take today contributes to the person you want to become tomorrow. Visualizing this transformation can be incredibly powerful. When you're tempted to skip a habit, remind yourself of the long-term benefits. For example, the habit of saving a small amount of money every month might not seem exciting, but over time it creates financial security and freedom. Keeping your why front and center will keep you anchored to your goals. As you begin to lay the groundwork for your own habits, reflect on where you want to focus your energy. Are there areas of your life where small changes could make a big difference? Maybe it's prioritizing your health, deepening your relationships, or enhancing your productivity. Whatever your goals, remember that the journey starts with a single, intentional step. Each habit is a brick in the structure of the life you're building. To apply this chapter, try the following exercise. Choose one small habit you'd like to build and identify a cue, routine, and reward for it. Write it down. For example, if you want to practice gratitude, your cue might be waking up in the morning. The routine could be writing down one thing you're grateful for, and the reward might be the feeling of starting your day positively. Reflect on how this habit aligns with the person you want to become and commit to practicing it for the next week. The foundation for lasting change is within your grasp. By designing your habits with care and intention, you can begin to shape the life you envision, one small, powerful step at a time. Chapter 2: Rewiring Your Mind, the Science of Habit Formation. Have you ever wondered why some habits feel impossible to break, while others slip into your life effortlessly? The answer lies in how your brain works. Habits, both good and bad, are wired into your brain through neural pathways. Understanding this process isn't just fascinating, it's empowering. Once you know how habits form and stick, you can take control, breaking free from unwanted patterns and creating new ones that serve you better. At the heart of habit formation is the brain's ability to adapt and change, a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity. Simply put, neuroplasticity means your brain can rewire itself based on repeated experiences. Every time you perform an action, your brain strengthens the neural pathway associated with that behavior. Think of it like walking through a field of tall grass. The first time, you struggle to carve a path. But the more you walk the same route, the more defined the path becomes until it's easy to follow. Similarly, each time you repeat a habit, you reinforce the neural pathway, making the behavior more automatic. One of the most powerful aspects of this process is its neutrality. Your brain doesn't distinguish between good and bad habits. It simply strengthens whatever you repeat. For example, if you frequently reach for your phone when you're bored, your brain solidifies that action as the default response to boredom. On the flip side, if you consistently take a deep breath or go for a walk when you feel stressed, that healthy response becomes your new norm. This neutrality gives you immense power to shape your behaviors by consciously deciding which habits to cultivate. Consider Mark, a software developer who spent hours each evening mindlessly scrolling through social media. He realized this habit wasn't adding value to his life and decided to replace it with something more fulfilling. Using his understanding of neuroplasticity, he identified the trigger, finishing dinner, and introduced a new habit, reading for 15 minutes instead of scrolling. At first, it felt unnatural, and his mind often wandered back to his phone, but with persistence, the new behavior took hold, and reading became his go-to activity. Over time, he not only broke his old habit, but also discovered a love for literature. Another key concept in habit formation is the brain's craving for rewards. Your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical, whenever you experience a reward, reinforcing the behavior that led to it. This is why habits tied to immediate rewards, like eating junk food or binge-watching TV, are so easy to form, while those with delayed rewards, like exercising or saving money, can feel like an uphill battle. To hack this system, it helps to create immediate rewards for positive habits. For instance, if you're trying to establish a habit of working out, you might treat yourself to a refreshing smoothie afterward, or take a moment to celebrate your effort. These small rewards keep your brain engaged and motivated. Let's explore the example of Anna, a graphic designer who wanted to build a habit of journaling each morning. At first, she struggled to stay consistent, finding it hard to prioritize writing over checking her emails. To make journaling more rewarding, she paired it with her favorite activity, enjoying a cup of coffee. Each morning, she allowed herself to sip her coffee only while writing in her journal. This simple pairing turned journaling into a pleasant ritual, and soon, Anna found herself looking forward to it every day. Breaking old habits requires a similar understanding of your brain's reward system. To weaken an unwanted habit, you need to disrupt the cue routine reward cycle. Take Sarah, who had a habit of snacking on chips every afternoon. She realized the cue was sitting down to watch her favorite show, and the reward was the temporary satisfaction of a salty snack. Instead of fighting her craving head-on, she replaced the routine with a healthier option: sliced apples and peanut butter. By maintaining the cue and the reward but swapping the routine, Sarah successfully rewired her habit without feeling deprived. The process of rewiring your mind isn't always linear. There will be days when old habits resurface or new ones feel challenging to maintain. This is perfectly normal and part of the learning curve. What matters most is persistence. Each time you choose the new habit over the old one, even if it's just once, you're reinforcing the pathway for positive change. Over time, these small victories compound, reshaping your default behaviors and building the foundation for a healthier, more intentional life. To put this chapter into action, think about one habit you'd like to create or change. Reflect on the following. What triggers this habit? What routine do you currently follow, or what new routine would you like to establish? What reward can you use to reinforce the behavior? For example, if you want to start meditating, your trigger might be waking up in the morning. The routine could be meditating for 5 minutes, and the reward could be the calmness you feel afterward. Write down your habit loop and commit to practicing it for the next 7 days. Rewiring your mind isn't about perfection, it's about progress. By understanding how habits form and using this knowledge to your advantage, you have the power to transform your life, one small change at a time. The next step in this journey is learning how to harness these small changes for exponential growth, a concept we'll explore in the next chapter. But for now, celebrate every step you take toward building the life you deserve. Chapter 3: Small Steps, Big Impact. The Power of Micro Habits. Have you ever looked at a massive goal and felt completely overwhelmed by where to start? It's a common feeling, but the secret to success isn't in tackling everything at once. It's in taking small, intentional steps. Micro habits, the tiniest version of a desired behavior, are the building blocks of significant and lasting change. By focusing on the smallest action possible, you bypass the mental resistance that often holds you back and create a pathway for success. Micro habits work because they're achievable. When a task feels too big, our brains perceive it as a threat to our comfort, triggering procrastination. But a micro habit is so small that it feels manageable, even on your worst day. Instead of aiming to run a marathon, you commit to putting on your running shoes. Instead of writing a novel, you focus on crafting one sentence. These actions may seem insignificant, but they are the seeds of momentum. Once you've started, it becomes easier to take the next step. Take the example of Lisa, a busy teacher who wanted to improve her fitness but felt she didn't have the time or energy for long workouts. Instead of setting an ambitious goal to exercise for an hour daily, she committed to doing just one push-up every morning. While it sounded almost laughable at first, this micro-habit eliminated her excuses. The act of doing one push-up often led to 2, then 3, and eventually, she found herself completing full workouts. What began as a tiny, effortless habit snowballed into a consistent fitness routine that fit seamlessly into her life. The power of micro-habits isn't just about building momentum. It's also about rewiring your identity. Every time you engage in even the smallest version of a behavior, you're casting a vote for the kind of person you want to become. If you want to be a reader, reading 1 page a day counts as progress. If you want to be healthier, drinking 1 glass of water instead of soda reinforces that identity. Over time, these small actions accumulate, leading to a profound shift in how you see yourself. Consider James, who wanted to cultivate a habit of journaling to improve his mental clarity. He struggled with the idea of filling an entire page each day, so he scaled his goal down to writing just 1 sentence. At first, it seemed too simple to make a difference, but James stuck with it. Writing one sentence soon turned into a paragraph, then a page. More importantly, it changed the way he saw himself. He started identifying as someone who journals. This mindset shift became the foundation for deeper self-reflection and personal growth. One of the reasons microhabits are so effective is their ability to bypass the all-or-nothing mindset. Many people fall into the trap of believing that if they can't do something perfectly or extensively, it's not worth doing at all. This perfectionist thinking often leads to inaction. Microhabits, however, allow you to embrace imperfection. They teach you that progress, no matter how small, is still progress. For example, consider Emma, who wanted to declutter her home but felt overwhelmed by the scale of the task. Instead of trying to clean an entire room in one day, she committed to throwing away or donating just one item daily. This tiny habit was manageable, and over time, her space became more organized. What's more, the success of completing such a small task motivated her to tackle larger cleaning projects. By letting go of the need to do everything at once, Emma achieved her goal, one step at a time. The science behind microhabits also highlights their sustainability. Large, dramatic changes often require high levels of motivation, which can be difficult to sustain over time. In contrast, microhabits rely on minimal effort, making them easier to maintain even when life gets busy or challenging. They also serve as a gateway to larger habits. By starting small, you create a foundation that naturally expands into more ambitious actions. A common misconception about microhabits is that they're too small to make a difference. However, the real impact of these habits lies in their consistency. Imagine a plane adjusting its course by just 1 degree. Over a short distance, the change is barely noticeable. But over a long flight, it can lead to an entirely different destination. Similarly, microhabits may feel insignificant in the moment, but their cumulative effect over weeks, months, or years can transform your life. To harness the power of microhabits, start by identifying a goal you want to achieve. Then break it down into the smallest possible action. If your goal is to meditate daily, your microhabit could be sitting quietly for just 1 minute. If you want to eat healthier, your microhabit could be adding 1 vegetable to your dinner. Focus on consistency rather than intensity. By showing up every day, you build trust in yourself and create a foundation for growth. Now, it's your turn to put this concept into practice. Think of a goal you've been putting off because it feels too daunting. What is the smallest, simplest version of that goal? Commit to doing this microhabit every day for the next week. For example, if you've been avoiding exercise, commit to doing 1 squat or stretching for 1 minute. If you've wanted to start writing, commit to writing 1 word or sentence. Reflect on how it feels to take that first step, no matter how small, and notice the momentum it creates. Remember, the path to big changes starts with small steps. By embracing microhabits, you're not just working toward your goals, you're transforming the way you think about progress and success. These tiny actions hold the potential to reshape your life, 1 moment at a time. So, start small, stay consistent, and watch as those small steps lead to a future that exceeds your expectations. Chapter 4: Breaking the Cycle. Overcoming Negative Patterns. Why is it so hard to let go of the habits that hold us back? Whether it's procrastination, overeating, or endlessly scrolling on social media, negative patterns seem to have a stubborn grip on our lives. The answer lies in how these habits are deeply embedded in our daily routines, often providing comfort or a quick sense of relief. To break free, you need more than willpower. You need to understand the cycle of these habits and take intentional steps to replace them with positive alternatives. Negative patterns are often driven by triggers and reinforced by rewards. When a specific cue arises, like stress, boredom, or fatigue, you may find yourself defaulting to a behavior that provides instant gratification, even if it's ultimately harmful. For example, consider Alex, who had a habit of snacking on junk food every evening while watching TV. His trigger was the transition from a busy day to his evening routine. The behavior, eating unhealthy snacks, was rewarded with a momentary sense of relaxation. Over time, this cycle became so automatic that Alex struggled to imagine evenings without his go-to snacks. Breaking the cycle starts with awareness. You can't change a habit you don't fully understand. By identifying the triggers, routines, and rewards that drive your negative patterns, you create a roadmap for change. For Alex, this meant recognizing that his desire to snack wasn't about hunger, but about needing a way to unwind after a long day. With this clarity, he began exploring healthier ways to relax, such as drinking herbal tea or practicing deep breathing exercises while watching TV. These alternatives satisfied the same need without the negative consequences. One of the most effective ways to overcome a negative pattern is to replace it with a positive one. Your brain is wired to seek rewards. So rather than depriving yourself, you can redirect that craving towards something constructive. Let's take the example of Maya, who struggled with procrastination whenever faced with challenging tasks at work. Her trigger was the anxiety she felt when starting a new project, and her response was to scroll through social media to distract herself. Maya decided to replace this behavior by setting a timer for 5 minutes and committing to work on the task for just that short period. The small accomplishment gave her a sense of progress, which acted as a reward, making it easier to continue working. Over time, this replacement habit helped her overcome procrastination and approach her work with greater focus. Negative patterns often thrive in environments that enable them. To break free, it's crucial to redesign your surroundings to support your goals. For instance, if you're trying to cut back on screen time, you might place your phone in another room during meals or before bed. If your goal is to eat healthier, you could stock your fridge with fresh fruits and vegetables and keep unhealthy snacks out of sight. By making it harder to engage in the unwanted behavior and easier to adopt positive habits, you set yourself up for success. Let's revisit Alex, who restructured his environment to help curb his snacking habit. He replaced the bowls of chips on his kitchen counter with containers of sliced vegetables and fruit. He also kept a water bottle nearby to stay hydrated, reducing the urge to reach for unhealthy snacks. These simple changes created friction for his old habit and paved the way for healthier choices. By taking control of his environment, Alex found it easier to stick to his new routine. Another critical aspect of breaking negative patterns is addressing the emotions that fuel them. Many bad habits are coping mechanisms for stress, loneliness, or boredom. To break the cycle, it's important to develop healthier ways of managing these emotions. For example, if you find yourself overeating when stressed, you might explore alternatives like journaling, talking to a friend, or taking a short walk. By replacing emotional eating with activities that truly address your feelings, you not only break the habit but also cultivate a deeper sense of well-being. This process isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Breaking negative patterns takes time and patience, and setbacks are a natural part of the journey. When you slip up, it's important to approach yourself with kindness and curiosity rather than judgment. Ask yourself what triggered the behavior and what you can learn from the experience. Each mistake is an opportunity to refine your strategy and strengthen your resolve. Take Sarah, who was trying to quit smoking. She found herself lighting a cigarette one particularly stressful afternoon, despite her efforts to quit. Instead of beating herself up, Sarah reflected on what led to the slip. She realized that she hadn't planned for moments of high stress and decided to create a backup plan. The next time she felt overwhelmed, she would practice deep breathing and call a friend for support. By learning from her setback, Sarah equipped herself to handle future challenges more effectively. To apply what you've learned in this chapter, take a moment to identify one negative pattern you'd like to break. Reflect on the following questions. What triggers this behavior? What routine does it lead to? What reward reinforces it? Once you've mapped out the cycle, brainstorm a positive alternative that addresses the same need. For the next week, commit to practicing this new behavior whenever the trigger arises. Pay attention to how it feels and the progress you're making. Breaking negative patterns isn't easy, but it's one of the most rewarding steps you can take toward building a better life. By understanding the cycles that drive your habits, replacing harmful behaviors with constructive ones, and redesigning your environment for success, you can free yourself from the habits that hold you back. Each small victory reinforces your ability to change, bringing you closer to the life you truly want to lead. Chapter 5: Anchor Your Day. Designing Effective Morning Routines. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? Do you hit snooze, scroll through your phone, or rush to get ready for the day? These early moments set the tone for everything that follows. A chaotic start often leads to a disorganized day, while a mindful, intentional morning can create clarity, focus, and a sense of control. This chapter explores the power of a morning routine, a simple yet transformative tool to anchor your day and set yourself up for success. A morning routine is more than just a sequence of tasks. It's a way to take charge of your mindset before the demands of the day take over. When you design your mornings with intention, you prioritize what matters most, whether it's your health, mental clarity, or personal growth. By beginning the day on your terms, you create a foundation of stability that carries you through even the busiest or most challenging moments. Consider Emma, a marketing professional who often felt frazzled by mid-morning. Her mornings typically began with hitting the snooze button multiple times, grabbing coffee, and scrolling through social media until she realized she was running late. Recognizing that her mornings were affecting her productivity, Emma decided to create a simple routine. She started waking up 30 minutes earlier to stretch, journal, and enjoy a quiet breakfast. Within weeks, she noticed a dramatic improvement in her focus and energy. What seemed like a small change transformed her entire day. The key to an effective morning routine is starting with manageable actions that align with your goals. Many people make the mistake of overloading their mornings with ambitious tasks, only to give up when it feels overwhelming. Instead, focus on a few small, meaningful activities that set a positive tone. For example, if your goal is to improve your physical health, a 5-minute stretch or a short walk can make a significant difference. If you want to enhance your mindset, writing down 3 things you're grateful for can shift your perspective and boost your mood. Let's explore another example. Daniel, a college student who struggled with procrastination and stress. He found that starting his day with a brief mindfulness exercise helped him feel grounded and more in control. Each morning, he spent 5 minutes focusing on his breath and visualizing a productive day. This simple practice calmed his mind and motivated him to tackle his priorities. Over time, Daniel's morning routine became a source of strength, helping him stay focused during exams and challenging projects. Consistency is the backbone of any morning routine. The more you repeat your chosen activities, the more automatic they become, saving you mental energy. However, life is unpredictable, and there will be days when your routine is disrupted. The key is to stay flexible and return to your routine as soon as possible. Even on your busiest days, sticking to just one core element of your routine can help maintain your sense of balance. For Emma, that core element was journaling. On particularly hectic mornings, she would skip other activities but never missed jotting down her thoughts, which helped her stay centered. Your environment also plays a crucial role in supporting your morning routine. A cluttered or distracting space can make it harder to focus, while a calm, organized environment sets the stage for success. For instance, if you want to start meditating in the morning, create a dedicated spot with a cushion or chair, free from distractions. If your goal is to drink more water, place a glass by your bedside the night before. These small adjustments make it easier to follow through and remove unnecessary friction. Mornings are also an ideal time for self-reflection. Starting the day with a moment of gratitude, journaling, or setting intentions allows you to connect with your inner goals before the external demands of the day take over. This practice is especially valuable in a world filled with constant notifications and distractions. By dedicating even a few minutes to yourself, you create a mental buffer that helps you approach the day with clarity and purpose. Take Maya, a mother of 2 who often felt overwhelmed by her responsibilities. She began her mornings by writing down 3 things she was grateful for and 1 intention for the day. Some days, her gratitude list included simple things like a sunny morning or a kind word from a friend. Other days, it focused on bigger blessings, like her family's health. This practice helped Maya shift her perspective from stress to appreciation, giving her the emotional resilience to handle her busy schedule. To create your own morning routine, start by identifying what matters most to you. What areas of your life could benefit from a little extra attention? Perhaps you want to improve your physical health, nurture your relationships, or enhance your productivity. Next, choose one or two small actions that align with these goals. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Your routine should feel supportive, not restrictive. To apply this chapter, design a simple morning routine to practice for the next 7 days. Begin with 3 activities that take no more than 15 minutes in total. For example, you might spend 5 minutes stretching, 5 minutes writing down your goals for the day, and 5 minutes enjoying a quiet cup of tea. Reflect on how these activities affect your mindset and energy throughout the day. If something doesn't feel right, adjust your routine until it works for you. Morning routines are a powerful tool for creating a life of purpose and balance. By starting your day with intention, you set the stage for productivity, resilience, and joy. Each small action you take in the morning ripples into the rest of your day, shaping the life you're building. As you experiment with your routine, remember that it's a journey of discovery, a chance to design mornings that truly reflect the person you want to be. Chapter 6. Momentum Matters. Building Consistency Through Action. Have you ever noticed how much easier it is to keep going once you've started? Momentum has a powerful effect on our habits, acting as the invisible force that turns small steps into big results. When you consistently take action, even in tiny increments, you create a sense of progress that fuels your motivation. This chapter explores how to harness momentum to build and sustain positive habits, making consistency a natural part of your daily life. Momentum is like riding a bicycle. When you're stationary, it takes significant effort to push the pedals and get moving. But once the wheels start turning, the ride becomes smoother, and you gain speed with far less effort. Habits work the same way. The initial effort to begin a new behavior might feel challenging, but each repetition makes it easier until it becomes part of your routine. This is why starting small is so effective. It lowers the barrier to action and allows momentum to build naturally. Consider Jack, a graphic designer who wanted to write a book. For years, the idea felt daunting and he struggled to even start. Then he decided to write just 50 words a day. At first, it felt insignificant, but he stuck with it. After a few weeks, the habit became automatic, and Jack often found himself writing well beyond his 50-word goal. Within 6 months, he had completed a substantial portion of his manuscript. What once felt impossible became manageable through the power of momentum. A critical part of building momentum is staying consistent even when you don't feel motivated. Motivation is fleeting, but action creates its own energy. This is often referred to as the action-motivation loop. When you take action, no matter how small, you generate a sense of accomplishment that inspires you to keep going. For example, if you commit to walking for 5 minutes each day, the act of getting up and moving reinforces your belief that you can follow through. Over time, the habit becomes less about motivation and more about routine. Let's look at Lisa, a busy mother who wanted to incorporate exercise into her daily life. She started by committing to just 2 minutes of stretching every morning. At first, it felt almost trivial, but she noticed how good it made her feel. Those 2 minutes often turned into a full workout. By focusing on consistency rather than intensity, Lisa built a sustainable habit that fit into her busy schedule. Momentum also relies on celebrating small wins. Each step you take toward your goal, no matter how small, is an achievement worth acknowledging. Celebrating these wins reinforces your progress and keeps you motivated to continue. For instance, if you're working on improving your diet, each healthy meal you prepare is a success that brings you closer to your goal. Recognizing these moments helps shift your focus from what you haven't achieved to what you're steadily building. Another way to maintain momentum is to reduce decision fatigue. The more decisions you have to make, the more likely you are to experience mental exhaustion, which can derail your habits. Simplifying your routines and removing unnecessary choices makes it easier to stay consistent. For example, if you're trying to read more, set a specific time each day for reading, such as right before bed. By making it a fixed part of your schedule, you eliminate the need to decide when or whether to do it. Take David, a marketing executive who struggled with time management. He wanted to establish a habit of reviewing his daily goals but often forgot to do it. David solved this problem by linking the habit to his morning coffee, a routine he never skipped. Each morning, as his coffee brewed, he reviewed his goals for the day. This simple pairing made the habit effortless and ensured he stayed consistent, building momentum that carried him through his workday. Momentum isn't just about physical actions. It's also about mental energy. Positive self-talk and visualization can play a significant role in keeping you on track. When you visualize yourself successfully following through with your habits, you strengthen your belief in your ability to succeed. For instance, if you're trying to build a habit of meditating, imagine yourself sitting calmly, feeling peaceful and focused. This mental rehearsal makes the habit feel more achievable and reinforces your commitment. It's important to acknowledge that momentum can work in both directions. Just as positive actions build positive momentum, negative actions can create downward spirals. Missing one day of a habit isn't a failure, but consistently skipping it can erode the progress you've made. The key is to recover quickly and get back on track. When you view setbacks as temporary rather than permanent, you maintain your momentum and avoid the trap of giving up. For example, Rachel, an aspiring artist, committed to sketching for 10 minutes every evening. One week, she found herself skipping several days due to a busy schedule. Instead of abandoning the habit altogether, Rachel reminded herself of her progress and picked up her pencil the next day. By resuming her routine, she kept her momentum alive and continued to develop her skills. To apply the concepts in this chapter, choose one habit you want to build and focus on creating momentum through small, consistent actions. Start by identifying the simplest version of the habit. For example, if you want to improve your fitness, commit to 5 minutes of movement each day. Then, track your progress and celebrate each success, no matter how small. Reflect on how the habit makes you feel and how it contributes to your larger goals. Finally, visualize yourself continuing the habit even during challenging moments to reinforce your belief in your ability to stay consistent. Momentum is a powerful ally in the journey toward lasting change. By taking small, consistent steps and celebrating your progress, you create a positive cycle that drives you forward. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about persistence. With each action you take, you build momentum that transforms your habits and ultimately your life. So start today, no matter how small, and watch as momentum carries you closer to your goals. Chapter 7. Habit Stacking. Creating synergy between positive behaviors. Have you ever wished you could make building new habits easier and more seamless? Imagine if you could weave new habits into the fabric of your daily life without feeling like you're starting from scratch every time. This is the power of habit stacking, a technique that connects a new habit to an existing one, creating a chain of positive behaviors that reinforce each other. In this chapter, we'll explore how habit stacking works and how it can transform the way you approach your goals. Habit stacking leverages the power of routines already ingrained in your life. Think about the habits you perform every day without even thinking, like brushing your teeth, making your morning coffee, or locking the door when you leave. These behaviors are so automatic that they serve as anchors for new habits. By linking a desired behavior to an established one, you create a cue that makes it easier to remember and follow through with your new habit. Consider Olivia, a busy nurse who wanted to develop a habit of practicing gratitude. She struggled to find the time and often forgot until she was already in bed. To solve this, she decided to stack her gratitude habit onto her existing morning routine. Every day, as she brewed her coffee, Olivia wrote down one thing she was grateful for. The act of brewing coffee served as her cue, and over time, practicing gratitude became just as automatic as making her morning cup. Habit stacking is effective because it reduces the mental effort required to form a new habit. Instead of creating an entirely new routine, you simply build on something you're already doing. This approach capitalizes on the momentum of existing habits, making the transition to new behaviors smoother and more natural. It's like adding a brick to an already sturdy wall. You're reinforcing what's already there while creating something new. Another example is Brian, a software engineer who wanted to improve his fitness. He decided to stack his workout habit onto his commute home. Each evening, as soon as he parked his car in the driveway, he changed into his workout clothes and did a quick 15-minute exercise routine. Parking the car became his cue, and linking the habit to an activity he already performed daily made it easier to stay consistent. Over time, Brian noticed that his energy levels improved, and exercising became a natural part of his evening routine. The key to successful habit stacking is choosing an anchor habit that is consistent and relevant. A consistent habit provides a reliable cue, while relevance ensures that the new behavior fits naturally into your routine. For instance, if you want to build a habit of reading more, you could stack it onto your nightly ritual of brushing your teeth. After brushing, you could read for 5 minutes before bed. This pairing feels logical because both habits are part of winding down for the night. Habit stacking also works well when combined with the concept of habit chaining, where one new habit leads to another, creating a sequence of positive actions. For example, imagine you want to improve your health by drinking more water, eating healthier, and meditating. You could create a chain that starts with drinking a glass of water as soon as you wake up. Drinking water becomes the cue for preparing a nutritious breakfast, which then cues a 5-minute meditation session. This chain of habits creates synergy, reinforcing each behavior and making the entire routine easier to maintain. Take Sarah, who used habit stacking to streamline her mornings and prioritize self-care. After waking up, she drank a glass of water, followed by stretching for 5 minutes and reviewing her goals for the day. Each habit flowed naturally into the next, creating a rhythm that set a positive tone for her day. What initially felt like a series of small actions soon became a powerful routine that improved her focus and energy. One common challenge people face when building new habits is remembering to do them. Habit stacking addresses this issue by tying the new habit to a specific trigger, eliminating the need to rely on memory or willpower. By anchoring the habit to something you already do, you create a reliable reminder that helps you stay consistent. For example, if you want to build a habit of flossing, you could stack it onto brushing your teeth. The act of brushing becomes the cue, making it nearly impossible to forget. However, habit stacking requires some experimentation. Not every combination will feel natural, and it's important to adjust as needed. For example, if you try stacking a morning habit onto a chaotic part of your routine, like getting the kids ready for school, it might feel forced and unsustainable. Instead, choose a calm, predictable moment as your anchor. The goal is to create a seamless flow that feels effortless rather than disruptive. To apply the principles of habit stacking, start by identifying a habit you want to build. Then, find an existing habit that serves as a natural anchor. Think about when and where the new habit makes the most sense in your routine. For example, if you want to practice mindfulness, you might stack it onto your lunch break by taking a few minutes to breathe deeply before eating. Once you've identified the pair, focus on practicing the stacked habit consistently for the next week. As you experiment with habit stacking, pay attention to how the new behavior fits into your routine and how it makes you feel. Does it flow naturally, or does it feel forced? Are there adjustments you can make to improve the pairing? Reflecting on these questions will help you refine your approach and create a habit stack that feels sustainable and rewarding. Habit stacking is a simple yet powerful strategy for building positive behaviors that last. By connecting new habits to existing ones, you reduce friction, increase consistency, and create a ripple effect of positive change. As you practice stacking habits, remember that small actions, when repeated consistently, lead to significant transformation. Each new habit you build strengthens the foundation of a life designed for growth and success. So start stacking today, and watch as your habits build on each other, creating a powerful chain of progress. Chapter 8. Resilience in the Face of Setbacks. How to Stay on Track. Have you ever felt frustrated after falling off track with a new habit? Maybe you skipped a workout, indulged in an unhealthy meal, or forgot to follow through on a commitment. It's easy to feel like one misstep undoes all your hard work, but the truth is, setbacks are a natural part of any journey toward growth. The key to lasting success isn't avoiding setbacks entirely, it's learning how to recover from them with resilience and grace. Resilience is the ability to bounce back after challenges, and it's a skill you can strengthen with practice. When it comes to building habits, resilience means recognizing that no journey is perfect, and that progress is more important than perfection. Life is unpredictable, and even the most carefully planned routines can be disrupted by unexpected events. The goal is not to avoid every obstacle, but to develop strategies to navigate them and keep moving forward. Let's consider Emma, who was working on a habit of waking up early to exercise. For several weeks, she stuck to her routine, feeling proud of her consistency. But one morning, after a late night at work, she overslept and missed her workout. Initially, Emma felt defeated, now as if all her progress had been lost. However, she decided to approach the situation differently. Instead of dwelling on the missed workout, she reminded herself of her long-term goal and went for a short walk during her lunch break. This small adjustment helped Emma regain her momentum and reinforced her belief in her ability to stay on track. One of the most important aspects of resilience is how you frame setbacks in your mind. Many people fall into the all-or-nothing trap, believing that one mistake means they've failed entirely. This mindset can lead to a downward spiral, where one slip-up becomes an excuse to abandon the habit altogether. Instead, it's crucial to view setbacks as temporary and to approach them with self-compassion. A single misstep doesn't define your journey, it's just a momentary pause. Take Brian, for example, who was trying to reduce his screen time before bed. One night, he found himself scrolling through social media for an hour, breaking his commitment to turn off his devices by 9 p.m. Instead of giving up, Brian chose to reflect on what triggered the behavior. He realized he felt anxious about a project at work and used his phone as a distraction. With this insight, Brian adjusted his approach, deciding to journal about his worries before bed to address the root cause of his screen time. By reframing the setback as a learning opportunity, Brian was able to strengthen his habit rather than abandon it. Another critical element of resilience is building flexibility into your routines. While consistency is important, rigidly adhering to a habit can backfire when life throws curveballs. Flexibility allows you to adapt your habits to different circumstances without losing sight of your goals. For example, if you're committed to exercising daily but find yourself traveling, you might swap your usual gym session for a 15-minute bodyweight workout in your hotel room. This adaptability helps you maintain your habit even in less than ideal conditions. Consider Sarah, who had a goal of preparing healthy meals for her family. One evening, after an especially hectic day, she didn't have the time or energy to cook from scratch. Instead of ordering fast food, Sarah chose a simple compromise: a store-bought salad kit paired with pre-cooked chicken. While it wasn't her ideal plan, it aligned with her goal of eating healthier, allowing her to stay on track. Sarah's flexibility ensured that a challenging day didn't derail her progress. Resilience also involves planning for setbacks in advance. By anticipating challenges and developing strategies to overcome them, you can respond proactively rather than reactively. For instance, if you know you're likely to feel too tired to exercise after work, you might schedule your workouts for the morning, or have a backup plan, like a short yoga session, for days when your energy is low. Planning ahead reduces the likelihood of setbacks and makes it easier to recover when they do occur. Let's look at David, who was building a habit of studying for an upcoming certification exam. He knew that family obligations sometimes interfered with his evening study sessions, so he created a contingency plan. On days when his schedule was disrupted, David committed to reviewing flashcards for 10 minutes during his lunch break. This plan ensured he stayed consistent, even when his evenings didn't go as planned. By preparing for setbacks, David stayed on track without feeling overwhelmed. The way you celebrate your progress also plays a role in resilience. Acknowledging your achievements, no matter how small, reminds you of how far you've come and motivates you to keep going. When setbacks occur, reflecting on your past successes can help you maintain perspective and reignite your determination. It's important to focus on the overall trend of your progress rather than fixating on individual moments of struggle. To apply what you've learned in this chapter, think about a habit you're working on and identify potential setbacks that could arise. Reflect on how you've handled similar challenges in the past, and consider what strategies might help you recover more effectively. Then, create a contingency plan for one specific scenario. For example, if you're trying to build a habit of reading every evening, but often feel too tired, your plan might include listening to an audiobook instead. Practice this plan the next time a setback occurs and observe how it helps you stay on track. Resilience is a cornerstone of lasting change. By reframing setbacks as opportunities to learn, building flexibility into your routines, and planning for challenges in advance, you can maintain your progress even when life gets tough. Remember, the path to success is rarely linear, but every step forward, even after a stumble, brings you closer to your goals. Stay kind to yourself, keep your vision in mind, and trust in your ability to recover and grow stronger with each challenge you face. Chapter 9. The Ripple Effect. How habits transform your relationships and goals. Have you ever stopped to consider how your personal habits affect those around you? Whether you realize it or not, the choices you make every day create ripples that extend beyond your own life. A positive habit can inspire and uplift others, while a negative one can create stress or tension in your relationships. Understanding this ripple effect can not only strengthen your habits, but also enhance your connections with others and align your actions with your broader goals. At its core, the ripple effect highlights the interconnectedness of human behavior. When you develop a positive habit, you're not just improving your own life, you're influencing the people you interact with, from your family and friends to your co-workers and community. For example, a habit of practicing gratitude can make you more patient and understanding, improving the way you communicate with loved ones. Similarly, a commitment to physical health can inspire your friends to join you in exercising or eating healthier. Consider the story of Maria, a mother of two who decided to prioritize her health by starting a daily walking routine. Initially, her habit was a solo endeavor, but her consistent example caught the attention of her children. They began asking to join her, turning her walks into a family activity. Over time, her simple habit not only improved her own health, but also strengthened her bond with her children and encouraged them to adopt healthier lifestyles. This ripple effect extended to her family's overall well-being and created a shared sense of purpose. The ripple effect isn't limited to personal relationships, it also applies to your professional and social circles. When you cultivate positive habits like punctuality, reliability, or active listening, you build trust and respect among your colleagues. These behaviors contribute to a collaborative and supportive work environment where others feel valued and motivated. On the flip side, habits like chronic lateness or negativity can undermine relationships and create friction, impacting both your productivity and the morale of those around you. Take James, a project manager who struggled with procrastination. His habit of delaying tasks often caused last-minute rushes that stressed out his team. Recognizing the impact of his behavior, James decided to work on better time management. He began using a simple habit, reviewing his to-do list each morning and tackling the most important task first. This change not only improved his efficiency, but also reduced the pressure on his team, creating a more harmonious work environment. James's habit had a ripple effect that extended far beyond his own desk. Another aspect of the ripple effect is how habits align with your long-term goals. Every small action you take either moves you closer to or further from your aspirations. When your habits are consistent with your values and objectives, they create momentum that propels you forward. For instance, if your goal is to write a book, a habit of writing for 15 minutes each day keeps you aligned with that vision. Over time, these small efforts compound, turning your goals into reality. Consider Lisa, an aspiring entrepreneur who dreamed of starting her own business. She developed a habit of dedicating 1 hour each evening to learning about business strategies and working on her ideas. While this initially seemed like a small step, her consistent effort built her knowledge and confidence. Eventually, Lisa launched her business, and her habit became the foundation for her success. Her story illustrates how aligning habits with goals creates a powerful ripple effect that shapes your future. The ripple effect also highlights the importance of authenticity. When your habits reflect your true values, they resonate more deeply with others and inspire meaningful connections. For example, if environmental sustainability is important to you, a habit of reducing waste or supporting eco-friendly initiatives sends a clear message about your priorities. This authenticity can attract like-minded individuals and strengthen your relationships, creating a network of support for your goals. Take the example of Ryan, who developed a habit of volunteering at a local animal shelter every weekend. His genuine passion for helping animals inspired his friends to join him, creating a ripple effect that expanded the shelter's volunteer base. Ryan's habit not only aligned with his values but also fostered a sense of community and shared purpose among his friends. To maximize the positive ripple effect of your habits, it's important to approach them with intention and awareness. Reflect on how your behaviors influence those around you and whether they align with the person you want to be. By choosing habits that promote kindness, growth, and collaboration, you create ripples that uplift others and contribute to a better world. One practical way to enhance the ripple effect is to share your habits with others. This could mean inviting a friend to join you for a workout, discussing a book you're reading, or sharing a gratitude practice with your family. When you involve others in your habits, you create opportunities for connection and mutual support. Additionally, celebrating your progress with those around you can inspire them to pursue their own goals, amplifying the ripple effect even further. To put the concepts of this chapter into practice, take a moment to reflect on one habit you're currently working on. Ask yourself, how does this habit influence the people in my life? Does it align with my values and goals? Are there ways I can share this habit with others or involve them in my journey? Write down your thoughts and identify one specific action you can take to amplify the positive ripple effect of this habit. The ripple effect reminds us that our actions matter, not just for ourselves, but for the people and communities we touch. By cultivating habits that reflect your values and sharing them with others, you create waves of positive change that extend far beyond your immediate circle. Each habit you build becomes a building block for a life of purpose, connection, and impact. As you continue your journey, remember the power of your influence and the potential of every small action to inspire greatness in yourself and others. Chapter 10. Sustain Success, Turning Habits into a Lifelong Lifestyle. What does it take to ensure that the habits you've worked so hard to build stay with you for the long haul? Many people can successfully create a habit, but the true challenge lies in maintaining it over months, years, or even a lifetime. Sustained success is not about perfection. It's about designing a lifestyle where your habits are an integral part of who you are. This chapter explores how to make your habits permanent, evolving them into a foundation for lasting growth and fulfillment. Turning habits into a lifestyle begins with identity. When a habit aligns with how you see yourself, it becomes less of a task and more of a natural expression of who you are. Instead of saying, "I'm trying to exercise more," shifting to "I'm a person who values health" creates a stronger connection to your habit. This identity-based approach transforms habits from something you do into someone you are. The more deeply a habit is tied to your sense of self, the more likely it is to stick. Consider Rachel, who struggled for years to maintain a regular exercise routine. She used to see workouts as something she had to do to lose weight. But when Rachel reframed her mindset and began identifying as an athlete, everything changed. She started prioritizing exercise, not because it was an obligation, but because it was part of who she wanted to be. This shift in identity made her workouts feel natural, even enjoyable, and helped her sustain her habit over the long term. Sustained habits also require adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and circumstances can change, from a new job or a move to unexpected health challenges. Being flexible with your habits ensures that you can adjust without abandoning your progress. For example, if you're used to running outside but find yourself traveling to a location without safe outdoor spaces, switching to hotel treadmill runs or bodyweight workouts keeps your fitness habit intact. The ability to adapt ensures that habits remain a priority, even when your routine looks different. Take Daniel, a father of 3 who built a habit of journaling every evening to reflect on his day. When his family's schedule became busier due to his children's extracurricular activities, Daniel realized he couldn't always find time in the evenings. Instead of giving up, he adapted by journaling for 5 minutes during his lunch break. This small adjustment allowed him to maintain his habit, proving that consistency is more important than strict adherence to a specific routine. Another key to sustaining habits is celebrating milestones and tracking progress. Recognizing how far you've come reinforces your motivation and reminds you why you started. While the day-to-day effort may feel small, looking back at the cumulative impact of your habits can be incredibly rewarding. For instance, someone who commits to writing 200 words a day may not notice immediate progress, but at the end of a year, they've written a full-length novel. Celebrating these milestones keeps you engaged and inspired to continue. Let's look at Sarah, who decided to save money by cutting back on unnecessary expenses. She started by saving a small amount each week and tracking her progress in a journal. Over the course of a year, Sarah saved enough to take her dream vacation. Seeing the tangible result of her efforts not only reinforced her habit, but also encouraged her to set new financial goals. Sarah's experience illustrates how tracking and celebrating progress can transform habits into a source of long-term motivation. One of the most powerful ways to make habits permanent is to connect them to a sense of purpose. When you link your habits to something meaningful, they become more than just actions. They become part of a larger vision for your life. For example, practicing mindfulness daily might not just be about reducing stress. It could be about being more present for your loved ones. Exercising regularly might not just be about fitness, but about living long enough to enjoy life with your family. Purpose provides the why behind your habits, giving them depth and resilience. Consider Emma, a teacher who wanted to improve her time management skills. She started by creating a habit of planning her day each morning. At first, it was simply about staying organized. But as she reflected on her purpose, Emma realized that effective time management allowed her to give her students her full attention and still have energy for her own family. This realization deepened her commitment to the habit, as it aligned with her broader goal of being the best version of herself in both her personal and professional life. Maintaining habits also involves building a supportive environment. Surrounding yourself with people, spaces, and tools that encourage your habits can make a significant difference. This might mean finding an accountability partner, joining a community that shares your goals, or setting up reminders and systems that simplify your habits. When your environment supports your efforts, it becomes easier to stay consistent without relying solely on willpower. Take Mark, an aspiring chef who wanted to cook at home more often. He joined a local cooking group where members shared recipes and tips. This supportive community kept him motivated and inspired to try new dishes. Mark also reorganized his kitchen to make cooking more convenient, keeping his tools and ingredients easily accessible. These changes turned his habit into a sustainable lifestyle, supported by both his environment and his social connections. To help your habits evolve into a lifelong lifestyle, take a moment to reflect on one habit you've developed. Ask yourself, how does this habit align with my identity and purpose? Are there ways I can adapt it to fit my current circumstances? What systems or support can I put in place to make it easier to sustain? Write down your answers and identify one action you can take to strengthen your commitment to this habit. Sustained success is about more than just repeating the same actions. It's about integrating your habits into the fabric of your life. By connecting them to your identity, adapting to change, celebrating progress, and aligning them with your purpose, you create a foundation for long-term growth and fulfillment. Remember, the habits you build today shape the person you become tomorrow. Stay consistent, stay intentional, and embrace the journey of turning your habits into a lifelong lifestyle. Conclusion: a life built on positive habits. Throughout this journey, you've explored the transformative power of habits, how they shape your life, influence your relationships, and guide you toward your goals. From creating a solid foundation with small, intentional steps to building momentum, overcoming setbacks, and integrating habits into your identity, you've gained the tools to design a life of growth and purpose. Habits are the building blocks of your future, and with the insights and strategies in this book, you're equipped to make lasting, meaningful changes. Thank you for investing your time and energy into this book. Your commitment to self-improvement is inspiring. If you found value in this content, we'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments and support us by liking this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content that empowers you to live your best life. Here's to a future filled with positive habits and endless possibilities.